Hello, BookTube. Well, it's a bleak and barren Sunday here in Boston, and what that means for those of you who might be new to the channel is it's a day when there's no mail, when there is no plop, plop, plop of books coming through the front slot for an eager Steve. Uh, Only not so today. I have mail. I don't know how it happened. Yesterday it was pouring rain here, and I have my sweet, frail old dog who, she needs to go out quite often. So I was checking. Saturdays are problematic days for mail delivery. The normal people for FedEx, UPS, and the U.S. mail truck are all gone. They don't work on the weekends, so it's all substitute drivers for that day. So the usual times are up in the air, and sometimes it doesn't happen at all. And I got some books, but I was expecting others and never got them. And I had the dog out. I had Malin Moore out at late at night, and there was nothing. And I was, late enough so that long since you're just assuming you're not going to get anything. And then this morning, first thing, there it was. There was mail. So what I'm guessing happened is that either somebody did a finish up route or in overtime last night, or more likely, the circuit mail truck driver dropped off dropped off these packages this morning just because he knew me. Well, one way or another, we have packages. It's just four, but we had fun with four the other day. We'll have fun with this four. So we'll start with this one. This does not feel corporate. This feels like somebody put a book in an envelope, which is, I should stress, perfectly fine with me. I don't care where my books come from. Let's see what this is. Okay, this is by Carolyn Marie Suede, and the title is Yasmin Haddad Loves Jonasi Makatic. Let's just say McConnell. So, Yasmin Haddad loves Jonasi McConnell. So that's a bit of a mouthful as a title. I once again stress to this author, to smaller publishers, to larger publishers, to everyone in the world, that my services are available for free to come up with a title for your book that will last through eternity. A title for your book that is absolutely perfect. I stress the free part. I will do this for free. Not just because I want your book to have the Naked and the Dead type title that is absolutely hammer-proof, but also because I don't want to have to put up with with crappy titles. But let's see what the book is. So Carolyn Marie Suade or McSorley, we could say McSorley, is an award-winning author of 7 poetry collections. She has performed at festivals and literary events in Europe, Canada, and the U.S., and her work has been translated into French, Arabic, Spanish, and Slovenian. Her poetries and short stories have appeared in magazines including the Malahat Review, the New Quarterly, and the Literary Review of Canada. And she lives in Montreal. So this might constitute CanLit. She lives in Montreal. That's as close as I usually come. What do we see here? A 23-year-old woman enters a new world of attraction in a community struggling with generations of loss of land and culture. Yasmin's tradition-bound mother wants her to stay in Montreal, get married, and have babies. But the young Syrian-Canadian wants more. Her appetite for adventure leads her to a teaching job in the northern Quebec village of... Oh, God. Oh, God. SAQI, which is an abomination right there. It's QI without a U. JUVIK. If I get into trouble with you people over Polish pronunciations, you just imagine what kind of trouble I get into with First Nation pronunciation. I'm not going to fall for it. She gets a teaching job in the northern Quebec village of Doneydene. Eager to adopt her new home and its Inuit inhabitants, Yasmin embraces every experience that comes her way in Doneydene. Camping on the tundra, hunting ptarmigan, sewing with the local ladies. They don't have Wi-Fi in Doneydene? She plunges into her northern adventure, no holds barred. But it's 1983. Oh, I guess they don't have Wi-Fi. Oh God, I shudder at the mere thought of going back to those days when you had to go outside to get porn. Oh, let's not dwell on it, shall we? It's 1983, and instead of the ideal, pristine Arctic Yasmin imagined, she uncovers a contradictory world of igloos and pool halls, Sedna and Jesus, raw caribou and alcohol. And in the middle of everything is Jonasi, a beautiful but volatile man who leads her into territory that is almost as unsettling as the land itself. Doesn't that sound good? Oh, doesn't that sound good? All right, so this is Yasmin Haddad loves Jonasi McGonnell, and it's due in mid-November, and I guess it's going to be a paperback original, which is great because it won't break the bank. It's $15 in paperback. I think it said no, $25 in paperback. Sorry, I was reciting a reasonable price, but still, and it's got the French flaps. It's going to be a very nice looking paperback. So if it's any good, I will report back. But that sounded interesting. That clash of cultures. All right, so let's move on. We started off with a novel set in scenic Ptarmigan-haunted Dunedin. Oh, remember it well. So now we've got. Okay, this is by Emmy Favola, who is the BuzzFeed copy chief, and the title is A World Without Whom. A strike through on whom. The subtitle is The Essential Guide to Language in the BuzzFeed Age. Okay. All right. A World Without Whom is Eats, Shoots, and Leaves for the Internet Age. And BuzzFeed Global Copy Chief Emily Favola is the witty go-to style guru of web speak. As language evolves faster than ever before, what is the future of correct writing? When Favola was tasked with creating a style guide for BuzzFeed, she opted for spelling, grammar, and punctuation guidelines that would reflect not only the site's lighthearted tone, but also how readers actually use language IRL. Okay. All right. It's the Sabbath and the Lord is testing me. IRL is a Twitter abbreviation because you only have so many letters to use. If you start to speak in abbreviations when you're using air and have all the time and space in the world, you are announcing your idiocy. With wry cleverness and in an uncanny intuition for the possibilities of internet age expression, our author makes a case for breaking the rules laid out by Strunk and White. A world without whom, she argues, is a world with more room for writing that's clear, timely, pleasurable, and politically aware. Featuring priceless emoji strings, sidebars, quizzes, and style debates among the most lovable nerds of the digital media world, of which Favola is the queen. I suppose it would be completely pointless for me to notice here that should say of whom Favola is the queen. A world without whom is essential for readers and writers of virtually everything. News articles, blog posts, tweets, texts, emails, and whatever comes next. So basically everyone. Okay. World peace is a noble idea, but I'd like to step that goal up a notch. A world with peace and without whom is the place I'd like to spend my golden years, basking in the sun, nary a subjunctive mood in sight, figurative literalies and comma splices frolicking about. Okay. All right. This comes out in mid-November. Okay. And it is among many other things, it is the very first thing that styles itself as a language or usage guide that is advocating incorrect and stupid usage. Most of them either advocate correct usage or they advocate what they think is correct usage and they're full of mistakes. This is the first one to say, make the mistakes, embrace the mistakes, sound like a moron when you're using the written word. I'm not sure that needs encouragement, but let's move on. To say the least, we haven't had a Steve book yet, but I have a treat for you. I didn't know I was going to need it quite as bad as this. I have a treat for you at the end of the video that isn't in this mail haul. Okay. All right. Okay. This also comes out in November. This is by Daniel Swift, and it is called The Bug House. Subtitle is Poetry, Politics, and Madness of Ezra Pound. Ezra Pound, a dominant figure in world literature in the first half of the 20th century, was hugely influential in the modernist movement. In addition to writing his own poetry, including his 120-section epic Cantos, he championed other poets, helping T.S. Eliot with The Wasteland and James Joyce with publishing Ulysses. Pound was also a fervent fascist and was indicted for treason in 1945 after giving hundreds of pro-fascist broadcasts from Italy during the war. He was found unfit to stand trial and in December 1945 became a patient at the massive psychiatric hospital St. Elizabeth's on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. His insanity saved him from facing the death penalty, and he spent the next 12 years at what he called the Bug House. In his fascinating new book, Daniel Swift explores the life of the controversial poet through the lens of his stay at St. Elizabeth's. Okay. All right. Pound wasn't insane. Let's go over the sentence again, shall we? On the outskirts of Washington, D.C., his insanity saved him from facing the death penalty, and he spent the next 12 years at what he called the Bug House. He wasn't insane. He held court at St. Elizabeth's. He discoursed. He carried on an extensive and completely cogent correspondence. He wasn't insane. He was trying to avoid the death penalty that he richly deserved. And let's not use the word controversial for the writings of Ezra Pound. It's been a long time. It's been a century. The shadow of his influence is gone now. All the generation of poets that somehow, for some reason whatsoever, or publishers who looked up to him are all gone now. He's part of history. He's a name in the distant past. Surely it is long since time that we started calling him what he was. And what he took no trouble to hide. You go ahead and read some of the poetry of Ezra Pound. Go ahead and read some of the letters of Ezra Pound. Okay. The poetry, the politics, and the madness of Ezra Pound. Okay. All right. So this comes out in November and is going to get every single windbag in the professional reviewing world who loves Ezra Pound to write about him at worshipful length. And that's not pleasant to know. It's unpleasant to know that's coming. I'll have to compensate for that with all of the historians who will be given carte blanche to write at great length about Ulysses S. Grant. And other figures. Herbert Hoover has a gigantic new biography coming out. FDR has a gigantic new biography coming out. I'm hoping that will be a balance for reading yet more lies about Ezra Pound. Okay, so this is the last item from this mail. Okay, so let's just see what it is. Let's just dive right in and see what it is. It's a slim volume of poetry. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is by an American poet named Angie Mlinko, and it is called Distant Mandate. And I opened it at random. You just saw I opened this page at random. I took the pub sheet out ahead of time. Nothing led me to this. The poem I opened to is called Two Hangings from Ovid. So let's just read it, shall we? I mean, what point is there in reading the pub sheet anymore today in this particular mail sheet? It is Hermes stepping off his winged sandal. I saw the writing spider sitting with aplomb. Even his caduceus, despite the scandal, dead center her creation above the compost. Of its forfeiture lies abandoned, sage location. What I wondered most, like an Android or iPod on a nightstand, was whether the sweet gum burrs and dried leaves grow. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the surprise, shall we? In addition to the mail, I went to Barnes & Noble today, and I got 3 romances, and I'm going to be happy to show them to you. The first one is It Started With a Kiss, which has an upside-down kiss on the cover. This is by Ella Quinn, and it is the first... it's a book in the Worthington series. What is a young Worthington woman to do when the man of her dreams is not who she thinks he is? This season, all eyes are on the Earl of Worthington's spirited, beautiful sister, Lady Louisa Viviers. Many gentlemen are vying for her attention in and around the Ton. Yet Louisa longs for someone who can take her beyond the ballroom, a man who is worldly, adventurous, and passionate. She won't settle for just any suitor. She wants her true soulmate, and she'll know him when she sees him. Is Gideon, the Duke of Rothwell, him? The moment he and Louisa meet, they share a powerful attraction. Rides at sunrises and waltzes at dusk follow. Finally, Gideon can no longer resist the urge to embrace her, and Louisa is sure he will ask for her hand. But Gideon believes he is in no position to marry. The Rothwell estate has gone bankrupt. A scandal simmers in its wake, and he has nothing left to offer. Now he must decide if he will let pride stand in the way of true love, or if he will risk everything and let the lady decide for herself. Thinking he probably comes into a windfall of money. It's one of the things you can be absolutely sure about in regencies, whether they be modern or ancient. One of the absolute things you can be sure of is that you cannot be happy without a lot of money. So the next one is A Most Unlikely Duke, and it's by Sophie Barnes, and I can attest right away on the cover that this is indeed a most unlikely Duke, because in 1818 they did not have cross-training. You notice she's staring at the back of his head. What's so interesting going on back there? Well, let's see. We're told that Rafe Matthews hasn't stepped foot in polite circles since a tragedy left his once noble family impoverished and in debt. Another indebted noble family. The bare-knuckle boxer has spent the last 15 years eking out an existence for himself and his 2 sisters. But when a stunning reversal of fortune lands Rafe the title of Duke of Huntley, he's determined to make a go of becoming a proper lord. But he'll need a little help, and his captivating neighbor might just be the woman for the job. After her sister's scandalous match, Lady Gabriella knows the Ton's eyes are on her. Agreeing to tutor the brutish new duke can only lead to ruin. Although she tries to control her irresistible attraction to Rafe, every day she spends with him only deepens her realization that this may be the one man she cannot do without. He's going to have to put some clothes on if he wants to be respectable. And then the last one is by Amy Sandus, and it is Lord of Lies. This is a fallen ladies novel, and he has a decidedly 2000-something hairdo. Look at that. Look at that in the background. It's not a... You see, this, you have the palatial background. They're in a grand hallway with a chandelier and all that. The background of this is a rack of clothing. Isn't that a little strange? There must be a reason for it in the book. When a dangerous moneylender kidnaps her sister, Portia Chadwick seeks help from a man known only as Nightshade. Soon, she's charging headfirst into a world of intrigue and danger with unexpected passion. Del Turner grew up in London's back alleys. Vowing to escape his low beginnings, he hires himself out to society's elite. I'm assuming he hires himself out as Nightshade, doing all sorts of, what was it again? Intrigue and danger, instead of the natural. Maybe he does that other kind of hiring out too, but it's a Sunday, so we won't speculate. When he accepts a job from the beautiful debutante, he doesn't anticipate her determination to join his mad occupation, or her ability to inspire emotions he thought long buried. She's as dangerous to him as his world is to her, and yet Del can't bring himself to turn Portia away, even if it means risking her life. That is Lord of Lies, and the only thing missing from that whole plot description is, again, money. She doesn't seem to have any, and he doesn't have any. He's lowborn. But I guarantee you, by the end of the novel, one of them will have inherited a title of some kind, a huge amount of money, some way. So there you have it. Those three, I'm very much looking forward to. So let's do the gruesome perp walk here. We have a slim volume of poetry. We have The Bug House, about the insanity of Ezra Pound. We have A World Without Whom, in which the grammar editor of BuzzFeed advocates disavowing grammar. Just write whatever you feel like writing. And then Yasmi Tadad loves Jonasi McConnell, which seems like a debut novel, and Canlit. And then we have A Most Unlikely Duke. It Started with a Kiss, and Lord of Lies, as 3 cherries on the top of a cake made entirely out of cow turds. Anyway, I didn't ever think it possible that a book shipment could make a bleak and barren Sunday bleaker and barrener. We'll hope for better in the next video. Thank you for your patience, BookTube.